As members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we have a seemingly endless list of responsibilities. We have responsibilities to our spouses or significant others, our children, our friends, our callings, our employers, and not the least of which, the Lord. We must also be responsible citizens. Where does it end? The 12th article of faith says, we believe in being subject to kings, presidents, rulers, magistrates, and obeying, honoring, and sustaining the law. Today, I would like to address the right we have to protect ourselves. This right is guaranteed by the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution. Bear arms. From a book published by Barnes & Noble titled The Constitution of the United States of America and Selected Writings of the Founding Fathers, it reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Actively protecting self and family is becoming more and more a necessity and a topic that must be openly discussed. Most of us remember where we were or what we were doing the day we heard about a place called Columbine, Colorado, or Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut. There have been headlines made in cities such as Charleston, Houston, Atlanta, and Los Angeles. All of these incidents include shooters causing widespread panic, injury, and death. Where do you stand on this issue? Here are some things to think about. With the aforementioned incidents and others like it making near daily headlines, there's been a lot of discussion by national leaders just how to correct the problem. Some are in favor of limiting the general population's access to weapons and ammunition. Others are in favor of broadening that access. Opponents say the right to bear arms only applies to law enforcement and the military. Still more think the solution is to take guns away from citizens entirely. That's all fine and good, but how do they plan on taking guns away from the criminals illegally getting and using these guns to commit crimes? Chicago is a city with the distinction of having the most gun-related crimes. Ironically, it's also the city with the strictest gun control laws. I'm not convinced the criminals committing these crimes are concerned about the legalities of gun ownership. Taking guns away from those entitled to have them does not solve the problem. I'm in favor of upholding and obeying the laws of our land. If politicians are truly interested in engaging in a realistic gun control debate, there must be consideration given to including a mental health background check, which would be as thorough as the criminal background check necessary to purchase a weapon or when applying for a carry conceal permit. Relative to the incidents of the mass shootings that have riveted this country of late, the mental health of the shooter has been brought into question and later determined that they heard voices or felt an obligation to right what they decided was a societal wrong. Conversely, there are instances where a local shopkeeper or a homeowner have used deadly force in the face of a life-threatening situation or a home invasion. During their investigation, the police determined the use of force was justified and the firearm used was legally purchased and registered. Consequently, no charges were filed against the gun owner. Whether or not to own a gun is undoubtedly one of the biggest responsibilities we as Americans voluntarily accept. It is not a decision that can be made lightly or frivolously. Rather, it should be made with fasting and prayer. The church has encouraged members to be prepared for emergencies by having 1 year's worth of food, clothing, finances, and where possible, fuel on hand. Shouldn't this include being able to protect ourselves and our family? As a citizen, you have to make the choice about what degree you are willing to go to protect your family. When the decision is made to own a handgun, it's critical to purchase it legally. Check into your state's laws and civil codes. You can purchase a gun from a reputable dealer or a private party. In either case, you must go about the purchase or the transfer legally. In California, where I live, there is a mandatory 10-day waiting period. This allows law enforcement to conduct a thorough background check. Another decision is whether or not to obtain a carry concealed weapons permit that entitles you to carry the weapon on you in public as long as it is fully concealed under your clothing. Carrying it in a purse, briefcase, or backpack could pose a problem if it's stolen. As stated before, this should be a matter of prayer and fasting with full knowledge of the carry conceal laws in your state. Information gathered in recent years suggests a correlation between private gun ownership and a decrease in crime. According to the Crime Prevention Research Center from July 2016, carry conceal permits have increased 215% since 2007. Between 2012 and 2016, women applying for carry conceal permits is double the number of men applying for those same permits. The murder rate has dropped from 5.6 killings per 100,000 people to 4.2 killings per 100,000 people, or approximately 25%. Liberty Firearms Training, in a blog from May 2013, indicated criminals now fear being shot by a private citizen more than they fear being shot by a police. You, however, have no need to be afraid. A good place to start is a local gun range. Arrange for lessons with someone knowledgeable about guns and ask questions. Ask lots of questions. Learn how the gun works and how to use it. Just having it will not protect you. Knowing how to use it will. I was afraid of guns all my life. I overcame that fear. As a result, I now feel a sense of empowerment. Where I live, the average police emergency response time is 10 minutes. In the county, the sheriff's department takes more than 20 minutes to respond. The response time from my 9mm Smith & Wesson Shield is approximately 2,500 feet per second. I overcame my fear of guns in favor of learning how to protect myself and my family. How to protect you and your family is ultimately your decision. But if you're not going to do it, who will?